All right, this is where you get all of your spelling words, or at least about 11 of them, so you can look them up as you're reading through this. This is about a job interview. During the years that you work, you're probably going to have many interviews. So you just got to follow a couple simple rules, like sell yourself and be the kind of worker people want to hire. With practice, you can feel really at ease when you do these interviews. Before the interview, you may want to do a little homework, like Google what the company does, perhaps what they make. Um, if it makes a product and you know what the product is, maybe it's easier, especially if you're applying for a job as a cashier or a clerk, to just visit the store and see how it works. Um, you also find this helpful. First of all, though, you need to have some idea of where or with whom you're going to be working. Second, you need to be thinking about some questions you might want to ask. A job interview is a chance for you to find out what you want to work for in a company. Besides asking questions, you need to make that good impression. It makes a good impression, especially a good first impression. It shows you're interested in the job, not just in the paycheck. You might also want to time how long it takes. Work with a friend. If you're driving, it's kind of good to check to see what parking is available. So you don't want to be late. That's like the number one rule. If you're going to be taking public transportation, you're going to need to know how much time to allow and where to make any necessary transfers on the bus. Being late shows that you're interested and that you're responsible. And after all, if you're late to an interview, they might not invite you back. And if for some reason you're unable to keep an appointment, you should call the interviewer and maybe explain why you can't. If you've accepted another position, let them know that. If you can, try to reschedule it. Here are the rules for the interview. Check how you look. Before you apply, you better make sure you wear the kind of clothes that people wear at this job, or even a little bit more professional. Stay away from clothes that you wear when you go out with your friends, or even the ones you kind of wear to school won't work. The next one is go alone in an interview. Don't bring a friend. Don't bring your mom. Don't bring your dad. You need to do this alone. Be prepared. You need your social security card, an ID card. You need to have proof of insurance, maybe. All this stuff because they're gonna do a background check on you if they decide to hire you. Now, shaking the employer's hand, maybe before COVID-19 was something that you would do. I would suggest that you don't, at least for another couple of years. Don't mumble. Make sure you articulate yourself clear. Be ready to talk about yourself. So you might be asked questions about what you like to do, where you go to school, what kind of job that you like, what you want to do with your future. You need to think about this stuff so you don't stumble with the answers. Also, number 6 here says ask questions about the job. This is where you have to be prepared. You want to know what they sell. Maybe you want to know if they offer health insurance, if they make you work on weekends. You need to know this stuff, but you need to know that you're interested in the company. And before you leave, you have to have some. Don't, I guess it says shake the employer's hand. I would probably not do that. If the interview has several people and the interview, you may not know immediately whether you get the job, but at least show a way of thanking them for giving you the interview. Be confident and remember you have to ask. You have been asked to interview because someone thinks you might be the right person for the job. So pretend, if you want, practice with a friend. These aren't questions we need to answer. What subjects did you like in school? What kinds of jobs have you had before? What duties did you have on the job? Why did you leave the last job? Why do you think you should be on time for your job? That's a trick question, so have a good answer for that. What kinds of job skills do you have? And tell me what you do in your spare time. Do you have any hobbies? And when can you start work? Okay, those are just questions you should have answers for, just in general, so that if you get asked those in the interview, you know how to answer them. The next page is what you do after the interview. Here it says it's a good idea to send a letter to the person who interviewed you. Thank that person for inviting you. You can also say that you like the company and hope you hear from them soon. It's a good way to have them remember you, and this is an example of a letter. You might shoot them an email if you were communicating them through that way. It says right here, maybe call them and thank them. It's not as good as a brief thank you note, but you know what? It's better than nothing. All right, so here's a few questions. If the statement is true, write a T, and if it's false, write an F. Most people have only one job interview during their work years, and we know that's false. Before you apply for a job, it's a good idea to learn what kind of clothes the workers wear. True. And if you're worried about the interview, taking a friend with you is a good thing to do. False. It's good to have some questions to ask the employer. True. You should always shake the employer's hand. I'm going to say false, especially with the current thing. Now, here's some focus questions. What might you want to do before you go to an interview? Check your clothes, perhaps, parking, and then Google it. Why is it important for you to be on time for the interview? It shows responsibility. And it shows that it also you give a good first impression. What should you do if you can't keep it? Reschedule, call, reschedule. Over here, if a friend was going to a job interview, what advice would you give? This could be any answer. So I'll let you guys come up with that list. And the last, what should you do after an interview? I'd say call, email, uh, a thank you note. And then when you're done, make sure you click finish. Email my answers to the teacher. Make sure you write your name. Year 12. This is the school subject here is working. And dsalinas at avhsd.org. And remember to click send. All right, good luck.